Your science teacher skipped the weird parts. They told you space is cold and empty. They never mentioned that a teaspoon of neutron star weighs 6 billion tons, or that astronauts grow 2 inches taller in orbit, or that there's a planet where it rains glass sideways at 1,000 miles per hour. The universe is far stranger than any classroom diagram ever showed, and some of this stayed buried in research papers most people never read. 50 space facts so bizarre they sound made up. They're not. Every one is documented by real scientists. Here's what they left out. Fact 1. Space is completely silent. No sound at all. Sound waves need molecules to travel through, and space is a near-perfect vacuum. Explosions, collisions, entire stars dying, all of it happens in absolute silence. Every sci-fi movie lied to you. Fact 2. A day on Venus lasts longer than its year. Venus takes 243 Earth days to rotate once, but only 225 days to orbit the Sun. That means a single day there outlasts an entire year. And here's the strange part. Venus rotates backward compared to most planets. If you could stand on its surface, you'd watch the Sun rise in the west. Fact 3. Neutron stars are so dense that a teaspoon of their material weighs about 6 billion tons. That's roughly the weight of every car on Earth combined, packed into something smaller than a sugar cube. Fact 4. There's a cloud of alcohol floating in space. Sagittarius B2, located near the center of our galaxy, contains enough ethyl alcohol to fill 400 trillion pints of beer. Astronomers discovered it using radio telescopes in the 1990s. The universe apparently has its own open bar. Fact 5. The largest known structure in the universe is the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. It stretches about 10 billion light years across. Light itself would need 10 billion years just to cross it, and we only found it in 2013. Fact 6. Space has a smell. Astronauts who conducted spacewalks reported a distinct odor clinging to their suits when they returned inside. They described it as burnt steak, gunpowder, and welding fumes. Scientists believe it comes from dying stars releasing chemicals called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Fact 7. There's a planet where it rains glass, sideways. HD 189733b sits 63 light-years away, and its atmosphere contains silicate particles. Winds reach 5,400 miles per hour, driving molten glass horizontally across the sky. The Hubble Space Telescope confirmed this in 2013. Fact 8. The footprints on the moon will last for millions of years. No wind, no water, no erosion. Every boot print from the Apollo missions is still sitting exactly where it was left. The only thing that could disturb them is micrometeorite impacts over extremely long timescales. Fact 9. A year on Mercury is shorter than its day. Mercury completes one orbit around the Sun in 88 Earth days, but it takes 59 Earth days to rotate once. Because of its elliptical orbit and slow rotation, one full solar day on Mercury equals 176 Earth days. Fact 10. The Sun makes up 99.86% of all mass in our solar system. Everything else, every planet, moon, asteroid, and comet, accounts for the remaining 0.14%. Jupiter, the largest planet, is basically a rounding error. Fact 11. There's a massive reservoir of water floating in space. Astronomers found it surrounding a quasar 12 billion light-years away. It contains 140 trillion times more water than all of Earth's oceans combined, and it's been sitting there since the early universe. Fact 12. Time moves slower on the International Space Station. Not by much. Astronauts age about 0.007 seconds less per 6 months compared to people on Earth. Einstein predicted this over a century ago. GPS satellites have to account for this time difference, or your navigation would drift by miles each day. Fact 13. Black holes don't suck. They pull with gravity, just like any other massive object. If you replace the Sun with a black hole of equal mass, Earth would keep orbiting normally. We just wouldn't have any light or heat. Fact 14. There's a planet made almost entirely of diamond. 55 Cancri e sits 40 light-years away and has a carbon-rich composition. Under the extreme pressure of its interior, much of that carbon likely crystallized. 1/3 of the planet's mass could be pure diamond. Fact 15. The Voyager 1 spacecraft, launched in 1977, is still sending data from over 15 billion miles away. Its signal takes more than 22 hours to reach Earth. The probe runs on less power than a refrigerator light bulb. Fact 16. Galaxies can collide without any stars actually hitting each other. The distances between stars are so vast that when the Milky Way eventually merges with Andromeda in about 4.5 billion years, direct stellar collisions will be extremely rare. The galaxies will pass through each other like ghosts. Here's the part most people don't know. These aren't edge cases. This is how the universe actually works. And it gets stranger when humans enter the picture. Fact 17. Astronauts lose bone density at a rate of 1 to 2% per month in space. On Earth, elderly people lose that much in an entire year. 6 months on the ISS can age your skeleton by a decade. Fact 18. Your heart becomes more spherical in microgravity. Without gravity pulling blood downward, the heart doesn't have to work as hard. It literally changes shape. NASA monitors this closely. Fact 19. Astronauts report that their vision deteriorates in space. Fluid shifts toward the head, increasing pressure on the optic nerve. Some return to Earth needing glasses they never needed before. Fact 20. Space can make you taller. Astronauts grow up to 2 inches because their spines decompress without gravity. The effect reverses within weeks of returning home. Fact 21. Tears don't fall in space. They form into balls that cling to your face. Astronaut Andrew Feustel demonstrated this during a spacewalk. Crying in orbit is an entirely different experience. Fact 22. The Soviet Union lost cosmonauts they never officially acknowledged. Only after the USSR collapsed did documents reveal missions that ended in tragedy and were simply erased from the record. Fact 23. There's a graveyard of spacecraft at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Point Nemo, the most remote location on Earth, is where space agencies crash decommissioned satellites and stations. Over 260 spacecraft rest there. Fact 24. Apollo astronauts reported seeing flashes of light with their eyes closed. Cosmic rays were passing through their skulls and triggering their retinas. They were literally seeing radiation. Fact 25. The Challenger crew likely survived the initial explosion. Evidence suggests the cabin remained intact during the fall. NASA doesn't talk about those 2.5 minutes. Fact 26. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on every beach on Earth. Astronomers estimate around 200 sextillion stars. That's a 2 followed by 23 zeros. Fact 27. The observable universe is 93 billion light years across. But that's just what we can see. The actual universe could be infinitely larger. We may never know. Fact 28. Dark matter makes up about 27% of the universe. Dark energy accounts for 68%. Everything we can see, every star and planet, is less than 5% of what exists. Fact 29. If you could fold a piece of paper 42 times, it would reach the moon. Exponential growth is strange like that. Fact 30. There may be more Earth-like planets in our galaxy than there are people on Earth. The Kepler telescope identified thousands of candidates before its mission ended. Fact 31. The light you see from some stars left its source before humans existed. You're looking at ancient history every time you look up at night. Fact 32. Olympus Mons on Mars is so large that if you stood at its base, you couldn't see the summit. It curves beyond the horizon. The volcano is nearly 3 times the height of Everest. Fact 33. Saturn would float if you could find a bathtub big enough. Its density is lower than water. Fact 34. One day on Jupiter lasts only 10 hours despite the planet being massive. It spins faster than any other planet in our solar system. Fact 35. The Boomerang Nebula is the coldest known place in the universe at -458 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than the background temperature of space itself. Fact 36. Neutron stars can spin up to 716 times per second. That's faster than a kitchen blender. Fact 37. We've only explored about 5% of the ocean. We've mapped more of Mars than our own sea floor. Think about that. We know more about a planet 140 million miles away than the ground beneath our ships. These facts are documented, verified by missions, telescopes, and peer-reviewed research. The universe isn't hiding them. We just stopped asking. Like if any of this surprised you, share if you want others to know, and subscribe if you're ready for more truths that didn't make it into your textbooks.